Welcome to Coach's Corner with Jay and our host, Lance LaFollette.
For your convenience and peace of mind, AmeriDrive by Stark offers teen driver education in these locations: Woodsfield, St. Clairsville, Wintersville, Martins Ferry, New Philadelphia, Marietta, Harrison Central, and Buckeye Local. 3 weeks of classroom study is held on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday evenings. State licensed and certified by the Ohio Department of Public Safety, AmeriDrive has been teaching teens and adults to drive for 20 years. 8 hours of one-on-one behind-the-wheel instruction is scheduled at convenient times. Call AmeriDrive by Stark at 1-800-YOU-DRIVE-2. McDonald's of Woodsfield is not just great food and lots of fun, it's a vital part of our community. Perla and Dell strongly believe in supporting our kids, both in school and in extracurricular activities. That's why McDonald's is proud to be the exclusive halftime sponsor for the Monroe Central Seminoles. They're happy to support our players, our cheerleaders, and our band. After the game, celebrate at McDonald's of Woodsfield, where we love to make you smile.
Good evening and welcome to Coach's Corner. The Seminoles marched to 7-1 after a victory last week over the Barnesville Shamrocks, 19-7. Coach, my wife and I rode to the ball game, and in the van she expressed the same feeling I expressed, and that's hate to go over there. It's a tough place to play, but it sure is a lot easier when you leave with a win.
Well, we talked about that last week, Lance, and the fact that Barnesville had a good football team, 4-3 coming in, and lost to 3 quality football teams in Shadyside and John Glenn and Magnolia. Those all 3 are good football teams, and they had opportunities to win at least 2 of those 3 games. So we knew it would be tough going in. Another thing, an element that you're battling there is the crowd, and I talked to our players about that and the fact that, especially at the one end zone, they're right there on the end line, and usually you hear a lot of comments, and they're pretty vocal when they're ahead, especially. So told our young men it was important that we go over there and jump on them quick and not only take their team out of the game somewhat, but take their fans out of the game, and that's exactly what we did. We jumped out to a 19-0 lead in the first half, getting a touchdown right at the end of the half, and they were pretty silent. You didn't hear much. Usually you hear a lot of comments going off the field. In fact, I called our young men over to the middle of the field before we left the field to tell them to make sure they kept, didn't say anything, keep quiet, just go into the locker room. But there wasn't much being said, being that we were up 19-0. But the problem with that is a team that played in the first half, I think, got on the bus and went back to Woodsfield, in the fact that we didn't play the same football that we played in the first half, second half.
Well, I actually had just about everything going. We took the kickoff, had some running plays, threw a pass in there, a little bit of everything. Scored right before the half on a pass play. So, as you say, a well-balanced attack in the first half.
Well, it's very difficult to figure out just exactly what happened the second half, and I really don't have a lot of answers for that, how you can run the football in the first half, and then, as you say, we also got one by way of the air, and then to come out the second half and sputter so much offensively. I think we had 1 first down the second half. We only had the ball like 17 plays in the second half, so we were on the field playing defense most of that half, and we played good enough defensively. We shut them out the first half, and we only gave 1 touchdown up the game, so that's good defense. But the fact is, we just didn't control the football enough the second half, and we were constantly having to make big plays on defense to keep them out of the end zone and keep that from being a real tight game. It was tight enough the way it was, but we just need to get things going offensively and put some points on the board, because as I told our guys many times, it doesn't make any difference how good you play on defense, you do have to score.
Well, you could feel the pressure from the sidelines as far as the fan goes, and might have said Monroe Central had a heck of a crowd. I stood in the end zone that you were talking about the first half before we got run out, but Monroe Central fans pretty much owned that end zone that game.
Well, we've talked about that before too. We have a tremendous following, whether we're home or on the road, and I'd say we had as many fans as what they do. As a coach, you don't really pay much attention to the crowd, but I know from what different people told me and looking on the tape that we had probably, like I say, as many as what they did, and our fans were very vocal, and that's good. That's the kind of thing you need, especially when you go to a little bit of a hostile environment like you have at Barnesville. But by what we did the first half, it kind of took them out, and I kind of kiddingly told the officials when we come out second half, Coach Winland told me that they had trouble with a transformer there, and they cleared everybody out of the end zone. I told officials that's probably the best move they ever made, because I don't know how they get away with that, allowing, here I know we've had situations in the past where the officials have made some comments, and we have to put the line back there, and everybody stands behind that line, and they do a good job of that, at least 10 feet, 12 feet back from the end zone. But over there, they're right on the back end line, and that makes it very, very difficult. But as I said, we talked about that going in, and I think we took it away from them. Now, as far as, we were only up 2 touches, and then that last touchdown came right before the half, and basically I wasn't going to throw the football with a 2-touchdown lead because we weren't in great field position, but we did get a couple runs, and we got the ball in a position where I felt we could take a shot deep down the field, even if it was incomplete or intercepted. We'd have them deep in their own territory with not much time left. But we took a shot deep, and Josh let one go, and Kenny made an excellent catch, and we got a 3rd touchdown there, and that was really nice to have as a cushion going in at halftime.
Okay. Well, a big win, a must-win as far as the standings go, with the Seminoles fighting for that playoff berth, still sitting, I believe, 5th position, and in a position where we're probably have to win the next 2 still to get in.
Well, the thing you look at, you can never take anything for granted. In our region, we talked about earlier, is extremely tough. We've got some excellent football teams in our region, and anybody can move up. And now the thing you have to understand is when you get to the end of the year, the points kind of double and triple because you're playing somebody and they may have 6 or 7 wins. You're going to pick up a lot more points than you do at the beginning of the year when you play somebody that have a win or 2. So you eventually get those points if they win, but the thing is you really pick up a lot at the end, and somebody can jump real quickly. And the other thing you got to be concerned about is you got to continue to win because you want to try to finish in the top 4 so you can host a first-round playoff game rather than have to go on the road. For an example, the scenario as it is now, if we were playing, starting the playoffs today, we would have to travel a long ways to play number 4 because we're in the number 5 spot, and you don't want to go and play somebody like Minford or Chesapeake clear down there. Now, if that's the way it ends up, we'll go, as I told our young men, we'll go and play whoever, whenever, wherever, but we just don't want to try to get ourselves in that situation, and the best thing we can do, or the only thing we can do, the only control we have over what we can do is to win, and if we win, gather the most points we can get, and hopefully finish in the top 4, which hopefully will put us hosting a first-round playoff game.
Okay. We're going to take our first break. We have 4 guests with us tonight, so after this break, we're going to come back and talk to Stephen Habig. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Bill Reesbeck. You heard me talk many times about how we offer you the best variety at the best possible price every day. And we do it with no cards, no gimmicks, no hassle. Just like you, we're working to get the most we can for the money we spend. So if these things are important to you, come home to Reesbeck's. We'll even add customer service as we continue what Grandma started over 70 years ago.
No matter what the weather is, you can work out year-round at Transforming Physiques. For your convenience, new owner Kristen Rossiter has extended the hours. Students have the opportunity to work out before school, after school, or on Saturdays. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, come out at 6 a.m. and get your exercise in before going to work. Adult, student, and family memberships are available. They now have 2 tanning beds and stock the best of tanning supplies. Stop out to see a large variety of sports drinks, diet bars, supplements, vitamins, and sports attire. Now is the time to start transforming your physique.
We're joined now by number 34, Stephen Habig, sophomore defensive lineman, several positions there, and also a running back on offense, 6'5", 220. So nice-sized player to have out there. Stephen, you've played several different positions on that defensive line, spelling people, and then we've had some injuries. Which one of those positions would you say you like the best?
I'll probably defensive end, just because I like getting the sack.
You have had several big sacks so far this year, and then the other evening you had one of those lineman's dreams. You had an interception at Barnesville in a crucial part of that ball game. Take us back and go through what actually happened there.
Oh, they just had the pass going on, and Coach been on me all week for getting my hands up when they passed, and I just put my hands up and it hit me right in the hands.
Coach, 6'5", he can get those hands up pretty good. And has to be a pleasant surprise because we lost some good pass rushers the last couple of years, and here's a guy stepped up and been doing the job.
Well, no doubt, Lance, Stephen's best football is ahead of him. I mean, he's still young, he's still maturing, he's still getting experience, And I think sometimes we look at his physical stature at 6'5", 220, and you think he's a junior or senior. You expect him to do things that a junior and senior does, but he's just a sophomore, and he's still gaining, like I say, that experience, and he's still learning. And last year we played him at fullback, and defensively we looked at him a little bit at defensive tackle. But this year we kept him at fullback. In fact, I had some thoughts about possibly moving him to an interior line position or possibly a tight end. But we looked at the situation we had at tight end. We had several tight ends with Dan and Sam back. I didn't feel that he was going to play that much. We were a little bit short as far as running backs are concerned, especially at the fullback position with somebody with some size. We kind of moved Fergie into a running back, halfback position rather than fullback, which he played previous years. So we felt that Stephen could give us some backup help at fullback. So we kept him as an offensive running back instead of putting him on the offensive line. And, he's got a lot of valuable experience. He hasn't got a lot of carries, and he hasn't got a lot of playing time on offense as much as he does defense. But he's getting more and more all the time. And I think he's gaining the valuable experience he needs to be a better football player. And like I say, he's got all the tools, the physical size and ability to do the job. It's just a matter of gaining that experience and getting a lot of reps in there. And I think you can see that he's getting better and better. He's made some key big plays for us from that defensive end position. So, and he can play a defensive tackle position if we need it, but we hope he continues to make those big plays, and I think you'll see him make some big plays remainder of this year and also in the future.
Okay. Stephen, a lot of times and a lot of people have started out on that outside and moved into the interior line. Probably didn't have a problem when they decided to keep you at running back, did you?
Yeah, I kind of liked it.
Well, hey, keep up the good work. 7-1, we're right there, and big game this week, so good luck.
Thanks.
We're going to take a quick break and come back with number 22, Tyler Graham, right after this.
For over 100 years, Bauer Turner Furniture has been serving our community with quality furniture and bedding. After a big day, kick back and relax in a dual recliner sofa, or choose from living room suites featuring couches with comfy armchairs or matching recliners. Then pick the perfect coffee table and tables and lamp to suit your personality. Of course, they stock bedroom furniture to please the country, traditional, or contemporary decorator. Kitchen tables and chairs, hutches, entertainment centers, and more can be delivered to your home this week. So stop by Bauer Turner Furniture today.
We're joined now by number 22, Tyler Graham, a running back on offense and a cornerback from the defensive side. Tyler's a junior. Tyler, this is your first year out. You had actually played in junior high and then came out this year for the team for the first time. What made you decide to come out?
I just missed football and had to get back in it and just came out.
Well, you've got thrown in there a lot of times, on that defensive side, mostly at cornerback. How's that worked out for you?
I like being out at corner, having a guy one-on-one, but it's pretty tough when they have fast guys out there.
You have spent a whole lot of time. Anyone that's been to any of the JV games this year has seen you, performing a lot there, getting a lot of carries. Big win this past week against Barnesville. How's the reserve team doing?
We're doing great. 6-0 now, I think, and line's been doing great, and defense stepped up for us, and so everything's been falling our way.
One final game next week down at Frontier, so get the job done doubly as these young guys building for the future as well. Coach, you had to be pleased with Tyler coming out. Really didn't know what to expect, and as you see him play more and more, he just seems to contribute more and more all the time.
Well, he has been a pleasant surprise, Lance, and the fact that he didn't come out as a freshman, sophomore, came out this year as a junior. And of course, it's tough to come out as a junior or senior because you don't have that experience that you go through in getting the reps as a freshman, sophomore, not only in practice but in the reserve games. And but I see Tyler getting better each week. He's got a lot of experience in the reserve games, and he's done an outstanding job in the reserve games. This past week against Barnesville, he had an excellent game. Probably had at least 200 and some yards total offense with his running and also his receiving. So he is starting to kind of find that groove, and he's starting to fit in, and he's starting to learn what to do, and that's the valuable experience that he needs. He has good size, he has good speed, and he does a nice job. He's getting more reps, as you mentioned, on the varsity level on the defensive side of the ball, but we need to get him some more reps on the offensive side of the ball But I think his best days are ahead also in the fact that he's just going to have to gain that valuable experience. Even though he's a junior, he didn't have the opportunity to play as a freshman and sophomore. And this is kind of a lesson for young guys that don't go out thinking, well, I'm not going to get to play. I'll go out when I'm a junior or senior. Well, the thing that they miss out on is that reserve experience as a freshman and sophomore and the experience in practice that allows them to know the system and become better and be a better ball player as a result of it. But, I see Tyler doing a lot of good things for us ahead, not only this year but in the future as far as offense and defense is concerned, because he's got a lot of ability. He works real hard. He's got himself in shape, and he works and he gives it everything he has, and he doesn't really say much other than just work.
Okay. Well, Tyler, keep up the good work. Had that first varsity touchdown there a few weeks ago. Keep it up and get some more of it.
Thanks.
We're going to take a quick break and come back with number 20, Sean Jors, right after this.
FW Shoemaker Insurance Agency celebrated 100 years of service to our community. FW Shoemaker is an independent agency representing many reputable companies for all of your insurance needs. Only the most professional agencies represent Westfield Insurance. The best of the best are recognized as Westfield Platinum agencies, and FW Shoemaker is proud to be a Platinum agency. FW Shoemaker Insurance and the Monroe Central Seminoles, two winning traditions.
We're back now with number 20, Sean Jors, plays slot back on offense and free safety on defense. Sean had defensive position, free safety. You're sort of the last guard back there, and defense has done a great job so far this year, very few points allowed. How much pressure is there playing that spot?
Oh, there's a few pressures out there. I mean, you got to be the deepest man on the field and make sure nobody else gets behind you. And I try to, you got to be pretty quick at there, and I try to do my best in keeping everybody in front of me and just seeing the whole playing field, and I guess I've gained valuable experience and done a little better job this year, had better each year.
Well, we face some teams that really throw the ball a lot. Shady Side comes to mind as throwing it all over the field. Barnesville, same way. And you actually, probably the biggest play you've had to get this year was that interception and run back. Barnesville's coming back. They're 19-7 and threatening. And tell us what happened on the play.
Well, it was late in the game, and they had just scored, and they were trying to put another one in, and so they had to start throwing the ball deep, and Huntsman just dropped straight back, and one of the receivers just ran a seam route, and he lobbed it up, and I just went up and got it.
Almost scored on that. Was you see him goal line there?
Yeah, I was seeing goal line, and I thought I was really going to get in. Then I saw two guys closing in on me, and then they just put the pretty big hit on me.
Doesn't hurt at all though when you have a big play like that.
Nah, adrenaline.
That's it. Big pass play there in the first half, and actually that's the second ball I think you've caught this year. Tell us about the play. Was you the primary receiver on that?
Oh, there's actually a bunch of receivers, and that play's worked pretty good for us throughout the year. And I guess this you just saw that I was pretty open, no one was around me, and just did a good job of giving me the ball, and I went from there.
Big field position play. You mentioned this year. He was a wideout last year. You, Tyler Graham, both sons of former quarterbacks. Josh made the switch from quarterback to wide out to quarterback. Any chance of you doing that next year?
Oh, I'm not sure on that, but whatever is best for the team, I'll do whatever I can.
Coach, that's a familiar sound. A lot of your guys seem to say the same thing, and that type of attitude helps the team out.
Well, it sure does, Lance, and Sean is definitely a team player. He's the kind of young man that just works all the time and never says anything. He's an outstanding young man, and he stepped in there, as you mentioned, on the defensive side of the ball at the safety position with not a whole lot of experience. In fact, going into this season, no real game experience on the varsity level at all, and he stepped in there, and we faced two passing teams right off the get-go in Buckeye Trail, who has a good quarterback and can throw the ball, and Shady Side, who has an excellent quarterback and can throw the ball. And I think, Sean, like Kenny, has started to get a little more comfortable in the secondary because of the thing we talked about, with Tyler, the thing we talked about with Stephen, experience. That's the key. The more experience you get back there, the more comfortable you feel. And against passing teams, you do have a lot of pressure on you because in his position, playing a free safety, sometimes you got a certain responsibility, but a lot of times you're free to help out, and you got to kind of be that last guy there. You got to keep the whole play in front of you and make sure that they don't get behind you and get deep. And as you mentioned, he came up with a big, I told him he saved his first interception for the great time last week against Barnesville, when they scored and we're up 19-0, then they score, you're not real comfortable with that kind of a lead, and they get down and score again onside, who knows what happens. So he came up with a big interception. We got the ball back. I just wish we could have been nice if we could have taken it all the way, because that would have capped off a beautiful defensive play. And then, of course, we got the ball down on a 5-yard line and didn't pound it in offensively, which goes back to what we talked about by not doing much consistently on offense. But Sean has also made a couple key catches for us. You mentioned the one the other night. That was a key catch to set up or keep that first drive going. Who knows, we don't make that play, Sean doesn't make that catch right there, we may not move the ball down and get it in the end zone, and who knows what happens from that point. So he wasn't, as he mentioned, the primary receiver, but he did make a nice catch and picked up a key first down for us. So again, Sean continues to get experience, and he continues to work, and the thing about Sean is he just, he never says anything, he just gets out there with a great attitude all the time, and he's definitely a team player.
Okay, well, Sean, keep up the good work. A lot of fun on those games when you can travel out there and win 2 home games and big ones. So keep up the good work.
I might add, Lance, too, that Sean offensively has played a lot on the offensive side. He hasn't carried the football much, but when you got the likes of, and you look in the past, we've had usually 1 or 2 key runners that are getting a lot of the carries, and you got guys like Gabe Gordon, and you got Aaron Brown, and you got Josh Ishii are getting the bulk of the carries. And when you look at those guys, you look at Aaron Brown, I know I talked to him before, and he was very disgruntled in the fact that he didn't get many carries coming in. I told him, you got to wait your time, wait your turn, and this year he's got a lot of carries. Josh got limited carries last year because he's splitting the wide out and running back. And Gabe, because of having Christopher Wilson in the backfield, in the 2 years previous, he got most of the carries. So, Sean hasn't got a lot of carries, but he has played a good bit on the offensive side of the ball.
No problem if he wants to throw it to you once in a while, is there?
No problem at all. As long as he catches it, right?
That's it. Okay, well, we're going to take one more break and come back with Josh Ishii right after this.
From a deck to a complete house, Woodsfield True Value has the lumber and building materials for contractors or do-it-yourselfers. Before you go out of town, bring your plans into Troy and Mike for a free estimate. We think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Delivery is available for your project materials, too. From lumber and siding to shingles, windows, insulation, and cabinets, Woodsfield True Value is your source for building materials and building packages. So give Troy or Mike a call today at Woodsfield True Value.
We're joined now by the Seminole quarterback, number 11, Josh Ishii. Josh, a lot of people talk and the questions asked, but we've never got to actually ask you. The switch from wide receiver to quarterback, you were sort of offered that position and you took it. Tell us about your feelings about that.
Well, I think people are making a little bit bigger deal than what it is. A lot of people make switches to different positions every year, and the deals don't made as big with them, but I guess quarterback's a little bit more important position with some people's opinion, and that's why they make such a big deal about it.
You're not 6'2" or 3, and actually, from a passing standpoint, Seminole's been very successful, and just the case the other night, the big pass to Sean Jors, the big touchdown to Kenny Robinson, so you're getting the job done. Do you see any problems with the size thing?
Well, every now and then I miss a receiver or two because I can't see over the line as well as a bigger quarterback could, but for the most part, Coach rolls me out so I can see the field better.
Okay. This week, Frontier comes to town, and a lot's made of the series, as you want to put it. Coach Jacosta's been here several years, and Frontier's not had very much success coming up here. As the time goes on, is there more pressure with this whole thing?
Well, I think there's more pressure, but I think there should be too. As the streak continues, more pressure should be put on each senior class to get the job done. I think it's good for the program.
Coach, couldn't ask for much more out of a guy. He made that switch and really made it a real nice switch. He's been able to throw the ball and adds an added dimension of being able to run with it.
Well, I wanted to clarify one thing first, Lance. You mentioned that Josh was offered the job of quarterback and he accepted that. Really not the way it was. Josh wasn't really offered the job. He was told that he was going to be in that position and given the job. But no, Josh and I talked about that prior to the season started, and I told Josh, I said, Josh, I know you prefer to play as a wide out, you prefer to play as a running back, but that he was going to have to step in there and play a quarterback because the younger guys that we had were just not ready to handle that position. And Josh gladly, went along with that, being the team player he is. We talked about team players, and we talked about, he mentioned about different people. And our success in the past several years has been based on guys making switches and going to other positions, not necessarily positions that they like to play or prefer to play, but positions that they know it's important that they switch to for the benefit and the best thing for the team. And Josh is one that exemplifies a team player, in fact, of what he did. There's a lot of pressure, because I know I played that position before, and I understand that there's a lot more pressure on that position than there is any other position, because that's kind of a focal point. Everybody's looking at that. When things don't go well offensively, there's usually two people that get the blame, and that's the coach and the quarterback. But that goes with the territory, and we understand that. And but Josh has done an excellent job. I tell you, to come in and do what he has done without having game experience as a quarterback, he's done an outstanding job. We were never ever concerned about his ability to run the ball, because we knew he could do that. And he has tremendous quickness and speed, and that he utilizes on many occasions. But we're concerned a little bit about throwing the ball, and everybody knows we're probably a run first team and then throw second. But the fact is, if you watch Josh on a day-to-day basis, and I watched him last week as we warmed up, and I told a lot of our other coaches, I see him getting better and better and better each game. In fact, if we were just starting out now, what an advantage he would have of having that. And again, that's where experience comes in. But I watch him throw the ball, I watch him set up, I watch him deliver it. His ball is so much better now than it was when we first started practicing, and he's done an excellent job. He didn't have his first interception until a couple weeks ago, and in fact, the one that he had 2 weeks ago against Shenandoah, at the end, we were just throwing the ball up to try to get a touchdown, and he had his second interception of the year that game, and then he had one this past week, which just slightly underthrown. Could have been a touchdown had it been another foot. Otherwise, it was an interception. But to come in first year and only have three interceptions through 8 games, even though we haven't thrown the ball a lot, excellent. But you look at his pass completion as attempts ratio, and as far as touchdown, what he has done as far as that's concerned, he's made a lot of big plays for us. And I really, the one thing I'm a little bit surprised that he hasn't really kind of got on track yet. We're hoping that happens here in the last couple regular season games and carries over to the playoffs, that he kind of gets untracked as far as running the ball, but you got to understand this too, the defenses are keying on him. And I told Josh many times, they're going to, if we send you one way, that's the way they're going to go, because they're keying on you. And that's why, we have a 3-pronged attack as far as our runners are concerned, with Gabe and Aaron and Josh. That's good because the defense can't key on any one of those guys. But I'm real pleased with Josh. He's an outstanding young man. He does an excellent job, and he never says, I don't like what I'm doing, or I don't want to do this or that. He's a team player, and he's done an excellent job, and I couldn't be prouder of him.
Okay. Well, Josh, like you said, a big game this week, so keep up the good work and get it done Friday night and get this season going.
All right.
Okay, we're going to take a break and come back and look at some highlights. Have several of them. We'll be right back.
Since 1887, folks have trusted Woodsfield Savings Bank with their financial needs. So when you need someone to lead you with your financial decisions, come to the friendly folks at Woodsfield Savings Bank, where customers count. Because of your busy schedule, we offer a drive-through and night deposit box, as well as convenient parking, direct deposit, and automatic payments. The folks at Woodsfield Savings Bank truly believe that making an investment in our kids brings the biggest return to our community.
Go Mold!
We'll start the highlights off with Josh Ishii, one of our guests, hooking up with Sean Jors, another one of our guests, for a nice completion.
There you see Sean, number 20, lined up here in the slot near to us, and he'll get down, alter his route a little bit. Josh picks him up. He starts to get a little pressure. Sean makes a nice catch and then turns it into a nice run. Picks up a big first down in that critical first drive.
Here, senior fullback Gabe Gordon covers the final 20 yards for the first Seminole touchdown.
Now we line up in a wing right power set formation to the right, and Josh will reverse out, give to Gabe, and you'll see him break off the right side, makes a nice cut, and catches a nice couple blocks, lifts his feet up high, and takes it in the end zone.
Curtis Merrick, true on the extra point. Really good kick here.
Yeah, Curtis really drills this one, Lance. We get a nice snap. Josh gets it down. He booms it through way over the trees.
Coach, sometimes the bounces just don't go your way. Josh Ishii, a nice job of getting his hand on the ball. Big catch by Barnesville.
Well, they stretch the field out, Lance, right off the get-go, first play. They throw the ball deep, and Josh does a nice job, almost had an interception. Ball bounced out of his hands, and Allen was laying right there, and the ball rolled right into his hands. Just an unbelievable break for them.
Big hit here by number 85, Dan Miller, on the Seminoles punt.
Big turnover on the kicking game. David Spielen's been doing a nice job, and here he gets the ball away. And they tried to field the ball in traffic, and Dan Miller get a big hit. Nice high kick by David, and they try to catch it. Dan gets a big hit, caused a fumble, and number 55, Curtis Merrick, is right there to jump on it and give us the ball back with great field position.
Here, Josh Ishii intends a pass for Kenny Robinson, interference on the Shamrocks.
And we got three receivers to the right out of the shotgun formation, and we get a little high snap, but Josh controls the ball. He steps up, lays the ball out there, and Kenny had a touchdown, and had their receiver not hit Kenny, he probably would have caught that in stride for a touchdown. But they interfered with us, and we get a penalty there, keeps the drive rolling.
Seminoles now with the ball inside the 1 yard line. Gabe Gordon takes it in for the score.
Now we line up in a power I formation to the left and give the ball to fullback Gabe Gordon. He'll take it off the left side and power his way into the end zone for a touchdown.
Kicking game again a big key here. Curtis Merrick puts the ball through the end zone for another touchback.
It's getting to be a sight we like to see on kickoffs. Curtis does a nice job booming the ball down into the end zone, which is a touchback, and makes him start from the 20 and makes him drive 80 yards for score.
Stephen Habick and Curtis Merrick team up for the quarterback sack.
Yeah, nothing like pressure on the quarterback, and he'd been hurting us with some of his scrambles. Here he looks to go downfield, and we catch him from behind and in front, with Stephen Habick in behind and Curtis Merrick in front.
Barnesville inside the 40 going for it on 4th down. Monroe Central stops.
Probably going to run the quarterback draw here again, and he drops the football, and we got people around him to make sure he doesn't go anywhere. Sam Miller and also Curtis Merrick.
Josh Ishii scrambles for big yardage around the right side.
Now, a big play right here to get us in position to take a shot at the last touchdown. And right here, Josh scrambles, does a nice job faking inside, going outside, and getting out of bounds, stopping the clock, and also putting us in a position where we, like I say, could take a shot down the field.
Just a few seconds left in the first half, and Monroe Central strikes again. Ishii to Robinson.
Well, we took a shot here. We got trips to the right. Kenny's down at the bottom of your screen, and we'll be in the shotgun formation. And Josh kind of airs it out. We get nice protection. He throws it downfield. Nice pass. Kenny goes up over the top, wrestles the ball away from Anderson, takes the ball in for a touchdown. That was a big, big score.
Quarterback sack by the Seminole defense, Gordon Habick and Sam Miller.
Where our defense comes up with some big plays when we need. Here they run a fake toss, and they're going to throw the football. And we've got three guys all over him, Gabe Gordon, Stephen Habick, and Sam Miller. Excellent defensive job.
Here's a 4th down pass play by Barnesville, broken up by Sam Miller.
Big defensive play by number 88, Sam Miller. They throw the ball down the middle of the field and to one of their leading receivers, Bryce Allen, and right there to make the plays, number 88, Sam Miller.
Here Barnesville tries a little trickery, no gain though.
A great pursuit here by especially Gabe Gordon and our outside people. Gabe kind of reads that. We miss a tackle inside. Watch Gabe coming with strong pursuit from the inside, and he also gets help from Brown Dog on that play, and also Dan Miller.
Stephen Habick comes in from the right side to make the quarterback sack.
Nice play here by defensive end Stephen Habick. Gets a good rush, makes a nice tackle on the quarterback for a sack.
Barnesville had some success with the quarterback draw. Here they tried on 4th down and no success.
A little bit surprised they ran this as long as they had to go for a first down, but we do have 3 or 4 people around the ball that time, and we do make the tackle and come up with a big 4th down stop.
Here number 20, Sean Joris, comes up with the INT, big play on D.
Well, as we said, good time for Sean's first INT, and here he does a nice job playing the free safety like it should be played. Steps in front right there, picks it off, and then turns in a nice run, gets away from one tackler there and takes it down the sidelines, picks up a couple blocks. Looks like he was going to go all the way, and then they bumped him out of bounds right here at the 5-yard line.
Final highlights, another defensive one, Coach. Stephen Habick getting the job done on that defensive side.
You know, it's kind of hard to throw over top of a guy at 6'5", 6'6", and right here, Stephen does a nice job, and they threw the ball right to him and made a catch. That's a hard ball to catch because it's being thrown so close and so hard, but he hangs on, and we get another turnover.
It's time now for my Citizens National Bank Play of the Week.
Ishii will be in the shotgun, looking downfield, going deep. He's going for Robinson. Kenny Robinson takes it.
Oh, yeah!
That's a 47-yard touchdown.
I'll tell you what, Jeff.
Huntsman alone. Shotgun. He's hit as he throws. Intercepted.
You're blocked.
Up the sidelines. Running room. This is Sean Joris to the 30. He's to 20. He's down to the 5-yard line. Sean Joris. And I'll tell you what, there was inside.
We'll be right back to take a look at this week's opponent, the Frontier Cougars.
The Citizens National Bank of Woodsfield, home-owned and independently operated since 1933. Your community bank. Our officers, directors, and staff are dedicated to customer and community service. We reinvest your deposit dollars locally. So remember, banking with us is not only good for you, but it's good for your community. Citizens National Bank of Woodsfield, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The opponent for this week, the Frontier Cougars, 6 wins, 2 losses. Coach, I guess the best way to describe the Frontier Cougars is a program that's on the rise. They seem to be playing better and better every year, every week.
Well, there's no doubt about that. Coach Morris has done an excellent job down at Frontier taking that program from what it was and to putting it where it is right now. And, a few years ago, they played a lot of freshmen, these guys that are juniors, and they've been playing for a couple years now, and they've gained valuable experience, and it's starting to pay off. They've got a big football team. They've got some skilled people who can do the job. They've got an excellent quarterback. They've just got a lot of things, and they're starting to gel together. And their 2 losses, when you look at them, have been to excellent football teams. One of them is Shenandoah, 8-0, and the other one is Shadyside, 7-1. So they have played outstanding football, and as you mentioned, 6-2 to this date, and I guarantee you they're going to come in here fired up.
Well, they've come in here year after year with a lot bigger team than the Seminoles. I had a chance to see them play Shenandoah, and the thing that impressed me the most was their overall team speed. They have a lot of speed.
Probably more this year than they have for several years, Lance. They've got 2 speedy running backs in the backfield, in Vinegar and Amos, that can fly, and you can't let those guys loose. And that's, you got Mossberg that can run, and then you got the big guy inside, Danny Reed, running inside tackle to tackle. So they do have a lot of weapons in that backfield, not to say anything about the receivers.
Well, let's take a look at their schedule, because you mentioned a lot of weapons. They've put up a lot of points this year as well for a Frontier team.
Yes, they have. In fact, they started off with a bang over River in their opener. River, of course, 2-6 right now. They defeated River 40-13. In game 2, they played Waterford and beat Waterford 27-13. That was only a half of football because that was the week that we canceled Shadyside on Friday, played Saturday, and they got the Lightning after half, and then Waterford didn't want to come back, so that ended at just a half. Waterford 4-4 to this point. They beat them 27-13. In week 3, they defeated Buckeye Trail, our number 1 opponent. Trail, of course, is 4-4 right now. They defeated them 26-19. And then they got some big points on the board in the next week against Bellsville, who's 3-5. They defeated Bellsville 52-16. And then they had suffered their first loss of the year against Shenandoah, which a lot of our people saw that week because we had postponed from Friday to Saturday. Shenandoah being 8-0 and defeating Frontier 41-13. Following week, they got back in the win column with a shutout, defeating Fort Fry 34-0. Fort Fry 0-8 at this point. And then 2 weeks ago, they defeated Caldwell 35-25 in a shootout. Caldwell, an up-and-coming team, and a team that's 3-5, but playing a lot better football. And then this past week, they lost to Shadyside 38-7. We know that Shadyside's 7-1, our Week 2 opponent, and they played that second half. That's a little bit misleading, too, because they played the second half without their quarterback, Mossberger. He got injured in the game, and he gutted it out for the first half, and then the second half they sat him out. The score at halftime was 17-7 Shadyside, and then they came on to end up defeating them 38-7. So when they're healthy and they've got everybody there, they're a solid football team. They have to date put up 235 points, or 34 points, 29.2, almost a 30-point average. On defense, they've given up 165, 20.6 per game. When you look at their rushing and passing, they've been more of a running team. They have a passing team, but Mossberger, the left-hander, can throw the football. They've rushed for 2,052 yards, averaging about 256.5 yards a game. Passing, he's thrown for 525 yards, 65.5 yards per game, a total of 2577. So they're averaging over 300, around 322 yards per game offense, which is pretty good. As far as their opponents are concerned, they're giving up rushing 1,092 yards, about 135 yards average per game. In passing, they've given up 1,033. They've played several passing teams there, 129 yards average per game. Total of 21-25, giving up about 264 yards average offense per game. So they have given up some points. They've rushed the ball pretty well. They can pass it when they have to. And again, they're a pretty explosive offensive team.
Okay. Well, I mentioned they're not as big as some Frontier teams in the past, but they have team speed. I looked across your roster, and they're not as big, but I think there's still only one guy under 200 pounds across that front line.
Yeah, they're not overly big. They're not a Shenandoah size-wise, but they're big. Offensive center Corey Creighton Jr., 5'9", 215, number 54. The guards Nick Kidd, number 52, 5'8", 206 Jr., and Jeremy Dye, senior, 6'1", 196, number 50. At the tackles, Chris Stevens, 5'7", 224, number 58. He's a junior. The other tackle's a senior, David Smith, 5'9", 232, number 60. At the ends, tight end Jake Walker, senior, 5'10", 204, nice target, and he has 5 catches, 51 yards. Their big go-to guy is, when I say big, I literally mean big. He's 6'6", 185, Don Lutz, or Lutz. He is a junior, and he's number 11. He's their leading receiver. He has 11 catches, 178 yards, 22.3 average per catch, and he has 2 touchdowns to go along with that. Also, Logan Smith, their wingman. He's a senior, 6', 176, number 42. He has 7 catches for 82 yards. Thing about their running backs are not only do they run the football extremely well, but they can catch the ball. They're 2 speed guys. Jake Amos, number 4, he's a junior, 6', 161, has 482 yards on 51 carries. He also has 6 catches for 34 yards. And Lance Benninger, a senior, 5'10", 162, good speed, rushed 32 times for 320 yards, averaging 4 yards per carry, and he has 9 catches for 66 yards and a touchdown. The big go-to guy inside is Danny Reed, their fullback, junior, 5'9", 250. He has 432 yards, averaging a little over 50 yards a game per game rushing-wise. And then, of course, their quarterback I mentioned earlier, Anthony Mossberger, is an exceptional athlete. He's been starting at quarterback since he's been a freshman. He's a junior, number 2, 6', 205, big guy. Has rushed for 441 yards, and he's thrown for 500 and some yards and 6 touchdowns. So, like I said, they got a lot of experience there. They got some big guys up front, and that'll present more challenges for our defense.
Well, one thing, anytime you start to develop that winning idea on the field, the winning program, you get more and more guys out, and that's one thing I noticed at the game I saw was that Frontier has a lot more football players this year, which allows for a little more depth. Do we expect, though, to see most of these same guys on defense, or are there some new faces over there?
Well, you'll see a lot of the same guys. You know, Kidd, Smith, Creighton, Walker, Reed, Dye, Amos, a lot of the same guys, Mossberg, Lutz, Smith in the secondary. They'll alternate a couple other guys in there, but you'll see about the same guys. Defensively, they've been basically a 5-2 defense and a 4-4 defense. They'll switch around. We'll see a little of both. And, of course, that that 4-4 will become a 6-2, I'm sure, and they'll have 8 guys up there again trying to slow down the run. You know, last week against Barnesville, Lance, we got up 19-0, and I didn't want to just start putting the ball up in the air, and it kind of puts you in a little strange situation because you don't want to throw, and get 3 and out real quick and give the ball back to them or come up with some interceptions. It gives them quick, easy scores. But we weren't moving the ball on the ground, and we're probably going to have to throw a little bit more like we did maybe the week before. But they're a good defense, and they're going to give us they're big, and they're going to make it tough. We're going to have to be a lot better offensively to get that ground game going if we're going to move the sticks and control the football, and that's what you want to do against a team like this, control the football and keep the football away from them.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a final break here and come back and wrap things up. It's Parents' Night, and as usual with them games, a lot of other stuff going on, so hang in there. We'll be right back.
New name, same great service. Ormet Credit Union is now Ohio Valley Community Credit Union. Visit us in our new facility in Hannibal, built with more convenient parking and easier drive-through. If you live, work, or attend school in Belmont or Monroe counties, you are eligible for membership in the Ohio Valley Community Credit Union. To serve you better, we also have locations in St. Clairsville and Clarington. Ohio Valley Community Credit Union. Community is our middle name.
I'm not buying till I checked on Ford.
When it comes to the regular maintenance of your Ford, Lincoln, or Mercury, come to the service department at Doane Ford. From oil changes and brake work to alignments and major repairs, the service department at Doane's has state-of-the-art equipment and factory-trained technicians to keep you on the road. And for all types of body work, remember, Doane Ford's Collision Center is a direct repair shop for all major insurance companies.
I'm not buying till I checked on Ford.
Before we wrap things up, one other question for you, Coach. You mentioned Mossberg probably going to go for Frontier. How do we look as far as physically, injury-wise?
Well, first of all, follow up on that, Lance. Their quarterback, Anthony Mossberger, was injured last week and didn't play that second half, as I mentioned, against Shadyside. We don't know what his status is. We have to prepare that he will be playing. We don't know otherwise for sure, so I'm sure he'll probably be in there. He's a pretty tough kid. As far as our injury concerns we got pretty well banged up last week. We had Aaron Brown, who had a thumb injury we thought could have possibly been broken, had that x-ray. It wasn't broken, thank goodness, and he's bruised up, and hopefully we'll get that healed up and in pretty good shape. He also had a little bit of an arm injury, or a pec injury that was bothering him before, and we're still working on that. Eddie McConnell twisted an ankle, and he didn't practice first couple days this week, and hopefully we can get him back in pretty good shape. I don't know that he'll be 100%, but hopefully